The truth about Serena Williams. Serena Jameka Williams, born September 26, 1981, is an American professional tennis player. The Women's Tennis Association, WTA, has ranked her world number 1 in singles on 8 occasions, from 2002 to 2017. She became the world number 1 for the first time on July 8, 2002. On the 6th occasion, she held the ranking for 186 consecutive weeks, tying the record set by Steffi Graf for the most consecutive weeks as world number 1 by a female tennis player. In total, she has been world number 1 for 319 weeks, which ranks her third in the Open era among female tennis players. Williams' accomplishments and success in professional tennis have led some commentators, players, and sports writers to regard her as the greatest female tennis player of all time. Williams holds the most Grand Slam titles in singles, doubles, and mixed doubles combined amongst active players. Her record of 39 Grand Slam titles puts her third on the all-time list and second in the Open era, 23 in singles, 14 in women's doubles, and 2 in mixed doubles. She is the most recent female player to have held all 4 Grand Slam singles titles simultaneously, 2002-03 and 2014-15, and the third player to achieve this record twice after Odd Laver and Steffi Graf. She is also the most recent player, together with her sister Venus Williams, to have held all 4 Grand Slam women's doubles titles simultaneously, 2009-10. Her total of 23 Grand Slam singles titles marks the record for the most Grand Slam wins by a tennis player in the Open era, and is second on the all-time list behind Margaret Court, 24. She is the only tennis player in history, man or woman, to have won singles titles at least 6 times in 3 of the 4 Grand Slam tournaments, and the only player ever to have won 2 of the 4 Grand Slams 7 times each, 7 Wimbledon titles and 7 Australian Open titles. She is also the only tennis player to have won 10 Grand Slam singles titles in 2 separate decades. She has won an all-time record of 13 Grand Slam singles titles on hardcourt. Williams holds the Open-era record for most titles won at the Australian Open, 7, and shares the Open-era record for most titles won at the US Open with Chris Evert, 6. She also holds an all-time record for the most singles matches won at the Grand Slams, man or woman, with 316 matches, through the 2017 Australian Open. She has won 14 Grand Slam doubles titles with her sister Venus, and the pair are unbeaten in Grand Slam doubles finals. As a team, she and Venus have the third most women's doubles Grand Slam titles, behind the 18 titles of Natasha Zvereva, 14 with Gigi Fernandez, and the record 20 titles won by Martina Navratilova and Pam Shriver. Williams is also a 5-time winner of the WTA Tour Championships in the singles division. Serena has also won 4 Olympic gold medals, 1 in women's singles and 3 in women's doubles, an all-time record shared with her sister, Venus. The arrival of the Williams sisters has been credited with ushering in a new era of power and athleticism on the women's professional tennis tour. Williams was the highest-paid female athlete in 2016, earning $28.9 million in prize money and endorsements. She has won the Laurea Sportswoman of the Year award 3 times, 2003, 2010, 2016, and in December 2015, she was named Sportsperson of the Year by Sports Illustrated magazine. Early life: Williams was born in Saginaw, Michigan, to Richard Williams and Oracene Price, and is the youngest of Price's 5 daughters, half-sisters Yeton, Lindrea and Isha Price, and full sister Venus. When the children were young, the family moved to Compton, California, where Williams started playing tennis at the age of 3. Her father, Richard, homeschooled Serena and her sister Venus, while he and subsequently her mother, Oracene, had been the official coaches. Other mentors who helped her learn the game included Richard Williams in Compton, not to be confused with her father, who would go on to found the Venus and Serena Williams Tennis Tutorial Academy. Williams' family moved from Compton to West Palm Beach, Florida when she was 9 so that she could attend the tennis academy of Rick Matchy, who would provide additional coaching. Matchy spotted the exceptional talents of the sisters. He did not always agree with Williams' father, but respected that he treated his daughters like kids, allow them to be little girls. Richard stopped sending his daughters to national junior tennis tournaments when Williams was 10, since he wanted them to take it slow and focus on schoolwork. Another factor was racial, as he had heard white parents talk about the Williams sisters in a derogatory manner during tournaments. At that time, Williams had a 46-3 record on the United States Tennis Association Junior Tour and was ranked number 1 among under 10 players in Florida. In 1995, when Williams was in the 9th grade, her father pulled his daughters out of Matchie's academy and, from then on, took over all coaching at their home. When asked in 2000 whether having followed the normal path of playing regularly on the junior circuit would have been beneficial, Williams responded, "Everyone does different things. I think for Venus and I, we just attempted a different road, and it worked for us." Playing style: Williams is primarily a baseline player and her game is built around taking immediate control of rallies with her powerful and consistent serve, return of serve, and forceful ground strokes from both her forehand and backhand swings. Williams' forehand is considered to be among the most powerful shots in the women's game, as is her double-handed backhand. Williams strikes her backhand ground stroke using an open stance, and uses the same open stance for her forehand. Williams' aggressive play, a high-risk style, is balanced in part by her serve, which most say is the greatest in women's tennis history. She consistently projects great pace and placement with her serves, and in the 2013 Australian Open, she had a peak serve speed of 128.6 mph, 207.0 km/h, which is the third fastest all-time among female players. Only Venus's 129 mph and Sabine Lisicki's 131 mph recorded speeds are faster. What makes her serve even more deadly is her ball placement and her ability to consistently place powerful shots with great accuracy. At the 2012 Wimbledon Championships, she hit a women's tournament record of 102 aces, which was more than any of the men hit during the 2 weeks. Williams also possesses a very solid and powerful overhead. Although many think of Williams as only an offensive player, she also plays a strong defensive game. She has stated that her favorite surface is clay because it gives her extra time to set up her shot. Williams is known for producing exceptional comebacks, particularly on the Grand Slam level. She has won 3 Grand Slam singles titles after saving match points: 2003 Australian Open vs Kim Clijsters, 2005 Australian Open vs Maria Sharapova, and 2009 Wimbledon vs Elena Dementieva, more than any other player in history. She also came back from a 3-5 deficit in the third set against Kim Clijsters in the 1999 US Open and went on to win her first Grand Slam singles title. In the 2012 US Open final against Victoria Azarenka, she was down 3-5 in the third set and found herself 2 points away from losing the match. Williams then proceeded to win the next 4 games and defeated Azarenka. In the semi-finals of the 2015 French Open, Williams was ill and barely able to walk during changeovers, yet beat her opponent, Timea Baksinshkai, 6-0 in the third set. Another improbable win occurred in the third round of the 2015 Wimbledon Championships, when she recovered from 2 breaks of service in the third set to defeat Great Britain's #1 female player, Heather Watson. Williams has bounced back from a set-down to win in 37 Grand Slam matches. In recent years, Williams has shown an ability to serve aces at critical moments. One of these instances was the 2013 French Open final, where in the last game of the match, she fired 3 aces, including one which clocked at 123 mph, 198 km/h, on match point. 52-53, she repeated the feat similarly against Angelique Kerber in the finals of the 2016 Wimbledon Championships to tie the Open-era record for Grand Slam singles titles. Williams fired 3 unreturnable serves in her final service game before winning the match and the title with a casual forehand volley on the next point. Professional career: 1995-98, professional debut. Williams' parents wanted their daughter to wait until she was 16 to participate in professional tournaments. However, in 1995, just after turning 14, Williams planned to make her professional debut as a wild-card entry in the Bank of the West Classic in Oakland, California, but was denied by the WTA due to age eligibility restrictions of the organization. She subsequently filed an antitrust lawsuit against the women's tour, but withdrew it at the behest of her parents. Her first professional event was in October 1995 at the Bell Challenge in Quebec. To circumvent age eligibility rules, she lost in the first round of qualifying to Annie Miller in just 2 games. Williams did not play a tournament in 1996. The following year, she lost in the qualifying rounds of 3 tournaments, citation needed before winning her first main draw match in November at the Ameritech Cup. Chicago. Ranked world number 304, she upset world number 7 Mary Pierce and world number 4 Monica Seles, recording her first career wins over top 10 players and becoming the lowest-ranked player in the Open era to defeat 2 top 10 opponents in one tournament. She ultimately lost in the semi-finals to world number 5 Lindsay Davenport. She finished 1997 ranked world number 99. Williams began 1998 at the Medibank International Sydney. As a qualifier ranked world number 96, she defeated world number 3 Davenport in the quarter-finals, before losing to Arantxa Sanchez Vicario in the semi-finals. Williams made her debut in the main draw of a Grand Slam tournament at the Australian Open, where she defeated 6th-seeded Irina Spurley in the first round, before losing to Sister Venus in the second round in the sisters' first professional match. Williams reached 6 other quarter-finals during the year, but lost all of them, including her first match against world number 1 ranked Martina Hingis at the Lipton International Players Championships in Key Biscayne, and her second match against Venus at the Italian Open in Rome. She failed to reach the quarter-finals of any Grand Slam tournament the remainder of the year, citation needed, losing in the 4th round of the French Open to Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, and the 3rd round of the US Open to Spurley. She withdrew from Wimbledon 2 games into a match with Virginia Ruano Pascual, after straining her calf muscle during the first set. She did, however, win the mixed doubles titles at Wimbledon and the US Open with Max Mirnier, completing the Williams family's sweep of the 1998 mixed doubles Grand Slam tournaments. Williams won her first professional title in doubles in Oklahoma City with Venus, becoming the 3rd pair of sisters to win a WTA title. Williams and her sister won 2 more doubles titles together during the year. Williams finished the year ranked world number 20 in singles. Battle of the Sexes, Karsten Brosch vs. the Williams sisters. Main article, Battle of the Sexes, Tennis. A 16-year-old Serena competed in a tennis battle of the sexes, along with her sister Venus Williams, against Karsten Brosch at the 1998 Australian Open. At the time, Brosch was ranked 203rd. The Williams sisters had claimed they could beat any man outside the top 200, and he accepted the challenge. Not known for having an ideal training regimen, Brosch nonetheless beat both Williams sisters, playing a single set against each. The score versus Serena was 6-1 and versus Venus 6-2. Brosch said afterwards, 500 and above, no chance. The girls later tweaked the number to beating men outside the top 350. 1999 to 2001, becoming a top 10 player, Williams lost in the 3rd round of the 1999 Australian Open to Sandrine Testud. Williams won her first professional singles title when she defeated Amélie Mauresmo in the final of the Open Gaz de France. With Venus also winning the IGA Super Thrift Classic that day, the pair became the first sisters to win professional tournaments in the same week. A month later, Williams won her first Tier I singles title at the Evert Cup, defeating Steffi Graf in the final. At the Lipton International Players Championships, Williams had her 16-match winning streak ended by Venus in the first all-sister singles final in WTA history, and made her top 10 debut at world number 9. She then lost in the quarter-finals of the Italian Open and the German Open, citation needed, in the 3rd round of the French Open, citation needed, where she and Venus won the women's doubles title. She then missed Wimbledon because of injury. When she returned to the tour, Williams won a Fed Cup singles match, won the J.P. Morgan Chase Open, beating Julie Hallard the Kyrgyz in the final. She then defeated in succession Grand Slam tournament champions Kim Clijsters, Conchita Martinez, Monica Seles, and defending champion Lindsay Davenport to reach the U.S. Open final, where she defeated world number 1 Hingis to become the second African-American woman after Althea Gibson in 1958 to win a Grand Slam singles tournament. The Williams sisters also won the doubles title at this tournament. To complete 1999, Williams won a doubles match in the Fed Cup final against Russia. Williams ended the year ranked world number 4 in just her second full year on the main tour. Williams started 2000 by losing in the fourth round of the Australian Open to Elena Likhovtseva. She failed to defend her titles in Paris and Indian Wells, although she did win the Faber Grand Prix. Williams missed the French Open because of injury. She returned at Wimbledon, where she lost to Venus in the semi-finals, but they won the doubles title at the event. Williams successfully defended her title in Los Angeles, defeating Davenport in the final. She reached the final of the Du Maurier Open where an injury forced her to retire from her match with Hingis. Her defense of the U.S. Open title ended when she lost in the quarter-finals to Davenport. Williams teamed with Venus to win the gold medal in doubles at the Sydney Olympics that September. She ended the year winning the Toyota Princess Cup. She finished the year ranked world number 6. Williams began 2001 losing to Martina Hingis in the quarter-finals of both Sydney and the Australian Open. Williams and her sister won the doubles title at the latter tournament, becoming only the fifth doubles team in history to win all 4 Grand Slam women's doubles titles during their career, completing a career Grand Slam. Her next event was the Pacific Life Open, defeating Kim Clijsters in the final. However, the final was marred by the behavior of the crowd towards Williams and her family. The crowd were incensed at the perceived match-fixing of games involving the family after Venus withdrew before their semi-final. Neither Williams or her sister entered the tournament for 14 years until Williams entered in 2015 as a wild card, and the top seed. The following week at the Ericsson Open, Williams lost to Jennifer Capriati in the quarter-finals. She then lost in the quarter-finals to Capriati at the French Open and Wimbledon. This was the 4th consecutive Grand Slam tournament at which Williams had exited in the quarter-finals. At the North American hardcourt season, she lost in the quarter-finals of Los Angeles against Monica Seles, then captured her second title of the year at the Rogers Cup, defeating Capriati in the final. Williams reached the final of the U.S. Open, losing to sister Venus. That was the first Grand Slam tournament final contested by two sisters during the Open era. At the 2001 Innings Championships, Williams won the championship by walkover when Davenport withdrew before the start of the final because of a knee injury. Williams finished 2001 at world number 6 for the second straight year. 2002-03, Serena Slam. Injury forced Williams to retire from her semi-final match at the Meadowbank International Sydney and to withdraw from the 2002 Australian Open. Playing Emily Morsmo in the quarter-finals of the tournament in Sydney in 2002, she won her first title of the year in Scottsdale, Arizona, defeating world number 2 Jennifer Capriati in the final. She then won the Miami Masters for the first time, becoming one of 3 players in the Open era to defeat the world's top 3 at one tournament, after beating world number 3 Martina Hingis in the quarter-finals, world number 2 Venus in the semi-finals, and world number 1 Capriati in the final. Her straight-set win over Venus was her second career win over her sister. Williams played 3 clay court tournaments before the 2002 French Open. Her first tournament was at Charleston, where she was the 3rd seed. Williams reached the quarter-finals losing to Patty Schneider. She reached her first clay court final in May, at the Eurocker German Open, losing to Justine Henin in the 3rd set tie-break. Williams went on to win her first clay court title at the Italian Open, defeating Capriati in the semi-finals and Henin in the final. This raised her ranking to a new high of number 3. Williams was the 3rd seed at the French Open, where she claimed her first title by defeating defending champion Capriati in the semi-finals, and Venus in the final to win her second Grand Slam tournament title. As a result, Williams rose to a career high of number 2, second only to Venus. At the 2002 Wimbledon Championships, Williams won the title for the first time, defeating Venus to win a Grand Slam singles title without dropping a set for the first time in her career. This victory earned Williams the world number 1 ranking, dethroning her sister and becoming only the 3rd African-American woman to hold that ranking. The Williams sisters also won the doubles title at the tournament, the 5th Grand Slam doubles title for the pair. Williams played just one tournament between Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, losing in the quarter-finals of the J.P. Morgan Chase Open in Los Angeles to Chanda Rubin, ending a 21-match winning streak. As the top-seeded player at the U.S. Open, Williams reached the final where again she defeated her sister to win the title for the second time. Williams won 2 consecutive singles titles in the fall, defeating Kim Clijsters to win the Toyota Princess Cup in Tokyo, and Anastasia Moschina to win the Sparkassen Cup in Leipzig, Germany. She reached the final at the year-end Home Depot Championships, where she lost to 5th-seeded Clijsters in straight sets, ending an 18-match winning streak. Williams finished 2002 with a 56-5 watts per liter record, 8 singles titles, and the world #1 ranking. She was the first African American to end a year with that ranking since Althea Gibson in 1958. She was the first woman to win 3 Grand Slam tournament titles in 1 year since Hingis in 1997. Her 3 consecutive Grand Slam titles to close 2002 also made Williams only the 3rd player in tennis history to win the Surface Slam, 3 Slam titles on 3 surfaces in the same calendar year, after Navratilova, 1984, and Graf, 1993, 1995, 1996. At the 2003 Australian Open, Williams went on to reach the semi-finals for the first time, where she recovered from 5-1 down in the 3rd set and saved 2 match points, before defeating Clijsters. She faced Venus for the 4th consecutive Grand Slam tournament final and won to become the 6th woman in the Open era to complete a career Grand Slam, joining Margaret Court, Billie Jean King, Chris Evert, Martina Navratilova, and Steffi Graf. She also became the 5th woman to hold all Grand Slam singles titles simultaneously, joining Maureen Connolly Brinker, Court, Graf, and Navratilova. This feat was dubbed the Serena Slam by the press. The Williams sisters won their 6th Grand Slam doubles title together at this event. Williams then captured singles titles at the Open Gaz de France and the Sony Ericsson Open. Williams' winning streak came to an end when she lost the final of the Family Circle Cup to Henin, her first loss of the year after 21 wins. She also lost to Morsmo in the semi-finals of the Internazionale Biennale d'Italia in Rome. This is a demo of the voice-text English TTS system. Despite these losses, Williams was the top seed at the French Open, where she lost in the semi-finals to eventual champion Henin, marking Williams' first loss in a Grand Slam tournament since 2001. The match was controversial, as Williams questioned Henin's sportsmanship, and spectators applauded Williams' errors. 83, Williams rebounded from the loss at the 2003 Wimbledon Championships, defeating Henin in the semi-finals and Venus in the final. This was Williams' 2nd consecutive Wimbledon title and her 6th Grand Slam singles title overall. This was her last tournament of the year after pulling out of 3 events in the USA. Williams underwent surgery on the quadriceps tendon in her knee at the start of August. Initially she was expected to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. 2004-07, Injuries and the Comeback, main articles, 2004, 2005, 2006, and 2007 Serena Williams tennis season, after 8 months away from the tour during which her desire was questioned. 85, Williams began her comeback at the Nasdaq 100 Open in Miami, where she made a triumphant return as she won the title, delivering a serve at an exhibition in November 2004. This was the 3rd consecutive year that Williams had won the tournament. Although ranked world number 7, she was seeded 2nd at the French Open. Williams lost to Capriati in the quarter-finals. This was the first time she had lost before the semi-finals at a Grand Slam singles tournament since Wimbledon in 2001. She was seeded 1st at Wimbledon, even though her ranking had dropped to world number 10. She reached the final, where she was defeated by 13th-seeded Sharapova in straight sets. This loss caused her ranking to drop out of the top 10 for the first time since 1999. Williams reached her 3rd final of the year at the J.P. Morgan Chase Open in Los Angeles, where she lost to Lindsay Davenport, which was her first loss to the American since the 2000 U.S. Open. She returned for the U.S. Open, where she was seeded 3rd even though she was ranked world number 11. She lost there in the quarterfinals to Capriati in 3 sets in controversial fashion. Williams won her 2nd title of the year at the China Open, defeating U.S. Open champion Svetlana Kuznetsova in the final. Williams qualified for the WTA Tour Championships. In the round-robin phase of the tournament, she defeated Dementieva and Anastasia Moskina, but lost to Davenport. She lost to Sharapova in the final where Williams suffered an abdominal injury. Williams finished 2004 ranked world number 7, but did not win a Grand Slam singles tournament for the first time since 2001. At the 2005 Australian Open, Williams rejected suggestions that she and sister Venus were a declining force in tennis, following Venus's early exit at the tournament. 88, Williams saved 3 match points in defeating Sharapova 8-6 in the third set of their semi-final. In the final, Williams defeated top seed Davenport to win her second Australian Open singles title and 7th Grand Slam singles title, winning 12 of the last 15 games. The win moved Williams back to world number 2, and she stated that she was targeting the number 1 spot. Williams completed just 2 tournaments between the Australian Open and Wimbledon, losing to Venus in Miami and at Internazionale Biennale d'Italia to Francesca Schiavone as Williams suffered a series of retirements and withdrawals. A recurring ankle injury causing her to miss the French Open. 93, she returned for Wimbledon as the 4th-seeded player, but was defeated in the third round by world number 85 Jill Craves. At the U.S. Open, Williams lost to her sister Venus in the 4th round. This was the earliest the sisters had met in a Grand Slam tournament since their first meeting at the 1998 Australian Open. Williams played just one more match the remainder of the year, a loss to world number 127 Sun Tianchen at the tournament in Beijing. She failed to qualify for the year-end championship for the first time since 1998. She finished the year 2005 ranked world number 11, her first time finishing outside the top 10 since 1998. Williams in 2006, Williams started 2006 by participating in the Australian Open. Defending the title, Williams lost to Daniela Hantuchova in the third round. After the tournament, Williams told the press that she was injured, blaming a lack of fitness and a knee injury for keeping her off the court. However, in her biography, Serena claims that she was actually suffering from depression. After she had shut herself off from the world for a period, Williams saw a therapist daily. 96, after a chance meeting with a young girl who idolized Serena and believed that she could still win, Williams signed up to play in Cincinnati. She had been away from the tour for almost 6 months and had slipped to 139 in the world, the lowest ranking Williams had held since 1997. On her return, Williams defeated Moskina and Bethany Matek, before losing in the semi-finals to Vera Zvonareva. She also reached the semi-finals in Los Angeles, losing to Jankovic in straight sets. At the U.S. Open, Williams needed a wild card to enter the tournament, as her ranking at the cutoff time was 139th in the world, outside the automatic 102. However, her ranking had improved to 79th by the time the tournament came around. She lost to top-seeded Morsmo in the 4th round. She did not play again in 2006, ending the year ranked world number 95, her lowest year-end ranking since 1997. Williams began 2007 with renewed confidence, stating her intention to return to the top of the rankings, a comment 1987 Wimbledon men's singles champion and commentator Pat Cash branded diluted. Williams lost in the quarter-finals of the tournament in Hobart, Australia, a warm-up for the Australian Open. Williams was unseeded at the Australian Open because of her world number 81 ranking and was widely regarded as out of shape. Williams experienced a huge amount of pressure on herself prior to the tournament, coming from her fans and the press as well as Serena herself about her weight, focus and needing a good showing. But just before her first match, a representative from Nike paid Williams a visit in the Players' Lounge, informing her that if she didn't perform to her accustomed level, the company might drop her. Williams claimed that Nike's ultimatum meant that she would have to reach the quarter-finals at least. The distraction from Nike did not put Williams off, as she lost just 3 games to Mara Santangelo and defeated Ann Creamer in straight sets. By this point, a blister had developed on Williams' foot and she had contracted a cold. In the third round, Williams found herself 2 points away from going home against Nadia Petrova, but fought back to win in 3 sets, which was her first win over a top 10 player since defeating Lindsay Davenport in the 2005 Australian Open final. Williams then made it all the way to the final, defeating Jankovic, Pierre and Vaidashova. Williams described them as good players. Strong players. Players who certainly didn't expect an overweight, out of shape, has-been champion like me to give them a game. Williams also found herself 2 points from going out against Pierre before turning it around. By the time Williams had reached the final, the cold and blister had gone, but Tracy Austin in her tournament analysis stated that Serena had a great tournament, but the ride was over and that Sharapova would have no trouble with Williams. Serena thought it was mean and unnecessary and used it as motivation with all the other criticism in the final. Williams lost just 3 games against Maria Sharapova, winning her first title at any tournament since winning the 2005 Australian Open. Williams became the first player since Chris O'Neill to win the title whilst not being seeded, and claimed her 3rd Australian Open and 8th Grand Slam singles title overall. The win elevated Williams to 14th in the rankings. Williams dedicated the title to her deceased half-sister, yet and her performance in the final was described in the press as one of the best performances of her career and arguably the most powerful display ever seen in women's tennis. In her post-match interview, Williams took a swipe at her critics, stating that she had proved them wrong. Williams won the Sony Ericsson Open for the 4th time after defeating Justine Henin. Williams had to record a come-from-behind win after being whitewashed in the first set and saving 2 match points in the second. Williams played for her country in the Fed Cup for the first time since 2003 in a tie against Belgium. Williams won her opening match, but withdrew from her second, because of a knee injury. At the French Open, Williams lost in the quarter-finals to Henin during her 4th-round match against Hantuchova at Wimbledon. Williams collapsed from an acute muscle spasm at 5-5 in the second set. After a medical timeout and holding serve to force a tie-break, rain forced play to be suspended for nearly 2 hours. When the players returned, Williams won the match in 3 sets. Williams then lost her quarter-final match with Henin, whilst suffering from the injuries sustained in the previous round. At the U.S. Open, Williams lost her 3rd consecutive Grand Slam singles quarter-final to Henin. Williams reached the final of Kremlin Cup, losing to Elena Dementieva. Williams qualified for the WTA Championships, but retired from her first match with Anna Chakvetadze with a knee injury and subsequently withdrew from the tournament. Williams finished 2007 as world number 7 and the top-ranked American for the first time since 2003. 2008-10, back to number 1 and injuries. Main articles, 2008, 2009, and 2010 Serena Williams tennis season. Williams started 2008 by participating on the U.S. team that won the Hopman Cup with Mardy Fish at the Australian Open. She lost in the quarter-finals to Jelena Jankovic, her 4th straight loss in the quarter-finals of a Grand Slam singles tournament. In the women's doubles event, she and Venus were defeated in the quarter-finals. Williams withdrew from her next 3 scheduled tournaments because of an urgent need for dental surgery. Williams then won 3 consecutive singles titles at Bangalore and her 5th Miami title, tying Steffi Graf for the most singles titles at this tournament. This is a demo of voice text TTS. At the 2009 Australian Open, Williams won at the Family Circle Cup, her first clay court title since the 2002 French Open. Her 17-match winning streak was ended by Dinara Safina in the quarter-finals of Berlin. Williams withdrew in Rome in the quarter-finals against Elise Cornet because of a back injury. Williams was the only former winner of the French Open in the draw, but lost in the 3rd round to Katerina Srebotnik. At Wimbledon, Williams reached the finals for the first time in 4 years but lost to her older sister Venus in straight sets, in their first Slam final since 2003. Serena and Venus teamed to win the women's doubles title in their first Grand Slam women's doubles title since 2003. Williams played at Stanford, but retired 6-2, 3-1 down with a left knee injury from her semi-final match against qualifier Alexandra Wozniak. The injury forced her to withdraw from Los Angeles. At the Olympics in Beijing, Williams lost to Dementieva in the quarter-finals. Serena and Venus won the gold medal in doubles, beating unable Medina Garrigues and Virginia Ruano-Pascual in the final. At the U.S. Open, Williams defeated sister Venus, Safina and Jelena Jankovic in the final. This was her 3rd U.S. Open and 9th Grand Slam singles title. The victory returned her to the world #1 ranking for the first time since 2003. At the year-end championships she defeated Safina and lost to Venus in her round-robin matches, but withdrew from her match against Dementieva, citing a stomach muscle injury. She ended 2008 ranked world #2 and with 4 singles titles, her strongest performance in both respects since 2003. Williams began 2009 at the Medibank International losing in the semi-finals to Elena Dementieva. At the Australian Open, she claimed her 10th Grand Slam singles title by defeating Dinara Safina in the final in 59 minutes. This win returned her to the world #1 ranking and resulted in her becoming the all-time career prize money leader in women's sports, overtaking golfer Annika Sorenstam. In women's doubles, with Venus, they captured the title for the third time. At the Open GDF Suez, Williams withdrew before her semi-final with Dementieva because of a knee injury. Williams then played at Dubai, losing to Venus in the semi-finals. At the Sony Ericsson Open, Williams, hampered with ankle and quad injuries, was upset in the final by Victoria Azarenka. This was the first of 4 consecutive losses for Williams, the longest losing streak of her career. She was defeated in her opening matches at Barcelona, Rome, and Madrid. Despite not having won a match on clay in 2009 before the French Open, she lost in the quarter-finals to the eventual champion Svetlana Kuznetsova. This ended her 18-match Grand Slam tournament winning streak. She rebounded at Wimbledon, saving a match point in defeating 4th-seeded Dementieva in the semi-finals. In the final, Serena defeated her sister Venus to win her 3rd Wimbledon title and her 11th Grand Slam singles title. Williams and Venus teamed to win the women's doubles title at Wimbledon for the 2nd consecutive year, their 9th Grand Slam tournament title in women's doubles. As a U.S. Open preparation, Williams played at Cincinnati losing in the 3rd round, followed by a semi-final defeat at the Rogers Cup. At the U.S. Open, she lost in the semi-finals to eventual champion Kim Clijsters amid controversy involving shouting at a line judge when defending match point, an offense which cost Williams the point and consequently the match. She continued in the doubles competition, teaming up with Venus to win their 3rd Grand Slam doubles title of the year and 10th of their career. Williams won all 3 of her round-robin matches at the year-end WTA Tour Championships, defeating Venus, Dementieva, and Kuznetsova, saving a match point against Venus. She then advanced to the final, when Wozniacki retired from their semi-final match. In the final, Williams defeated Venus for her 2nd singles title at this event. Williams on her way to the singles and doubles title at the 2010 Australian Open. Williams finished the year ranked world #1 for the 2nd time in her career, having played in 16 tournaments, more than any other year. She also broke the record previously set by Justine Henin for the most prize money earned by a female tennis player in one year, with Williams earning $6,545,586. In doubles, the Williams sisters finished the year ranked world #2, despite playing only 6 tournaments as a pair. She won 5 Grand Slam tournament titles, putting her total Grand Slam titles at 23. Williams was named Female Athlete of the Year by the Associated Press. She also was the ITF World Champion in singles and doubles. In 2010, Williams' first scheduled tournament was in Sydney, losing in the final to Elena Dementieva. At the Australian Open, Williams was the defending champion in both singles and doubles. She reached the final, where she defeated Justine Henin for her 12th Grand Slam singles title. In doubles, Serena and Venus successfully defended their title by defeating Cara Black and Liesl Huber in the final. Williams withdrew with a leg injury from her next events. Citation needed. She returned at the Rome Masters losing to Jelena Jankovic in the semi-finals. At Madrid, she fell to Nadia Petrova in the 3rd round and partnered Venus to win the doubles title. At the French Open, she lost to Samantha Stosur in the quarter-finals. She and Venus were the top seeds in the doubles event and won the title, defeating Kveta Peschke and Katerina Srebotnik in the final to win their 4th consecutive Grand Slam doubles title and improved their doubles ranking to world #1. Her next tournament was Wimbledon, where she defeated Russian Vera Zvonareva in the final without facing a breakpoint and breaking the serve of Zvonareva 3 times. She did not lose a set in the tournament. After the match, Martina Navratilova said that Williams is in the top 5 of all the women's tennis players in all of history, which she said that it's not just about how many slams you win or how many tournaments you win, it's just your game overall. And she's definitely got all the goods. Serena was the defending champion in doubles with her sister Venus, winning the last 2 years. They lost in the quarter-finals to Elena Vesnina and Zvonareva. In Munich on July 7, Williams stepped on broken glass while in a restaurant, and the injury caused her to miss the rest of the year. She ended the year ranked number 4 in singles, despite having played only 6 tournaments, and number 11 in doubles after 4 tournaments. On March 2, 2011, she confirmed that she had suffered a hematoma and a pulmonary embolism. 2011-13, Return to Dominance, Career Golden Slam, Main Articles, 2011, 2012, and 2013 Serena Williams tennis season. Williams finally made a return to the practice court in March 2011. She made her first appearance on the WTA Tour in almost a year in Eastbourne. Williams lost in round 2 to Vera Zvonareva, in a match that lasted over 3 hours. Her next tournament was Wimbledon, where she was the defending champion. She reached the round of 16, where she lost to Marion Bartoli. After the loss, her ranking dropped to 169. Williams won her first titles since her return to tennis, triumphing in Stanford and Toronto. At the Western and Southern Open, Serena defeated Lucy Hrdecka, only to withdraw the next day, citing a right toe injury. She then played at the U.S. Open, going all the way to the final, losing to Samantha Stosur, during a match which featured her verbally abusing the chair umpire. The U.S. Open final turned out to be Williams' last match in 2011, and she ended the year ranked world number 12 with 2 titles and with a 22-3 record for the season. She only participated in 6 tournaments throughout the season. Williams won the singles gold medal at the 2012 Olympic Games. Williams started the 2012 season at the Brisbane International. However, during her match against Bojana Jovanovski, she injured her left ankle when serving for the match. As a result, Williams was forced to withdraw from the tournament. Next, she participated at the Australian Open, where she was upset by Ekaterina Makarova in the 4th round. After a month layoff, Williams returned to competition in Miami, losing in the quarter-finals to Caroline Wozniacki. Williams then won consecutive titles at Charleston and Madrid, beating Lucy Shafarova and Victoria Azarenka, but withdrew from her semi-final match against Li Na in Rome, citing a lower back injury. Williams suffered her first ever loss in the opening round of a Grand Slam tournament at the French Open against Virginie Razzano. Williams notched up a 33-1 record for the second half of the season, winning 5 titles in the process. Williams won her 5th Wimbledon singles title, her 14th Grand Slam title, setting a serving record of 24 aces by a female in a match, as well as having the most aces, male or female, during the tournament, 102. Williams returned to America to successfully defend her title in Stanford, beating Coco Vandeweghe in the final. Serena then returned to Wimbledon to represent her country at the Olympic Games, where she won gold, defeating rival Maria Sharapova in the dominating performance. Williams failed to drop more than 3 games per set en route to winning the medal. Williams' undefeated streak ended with a loss in Cincinnati to Angelique Kerber. In New York City, Williams went on to win her 4th U.S. Open singles title and her 15th career Grand Slam title overall, beating Azarenka in the final. Williams ended the season by competing at the WTA Championships and went undefeated throughout the tournament to win the event for her 3rd title. Serena Williams was voted WTA Player of the Year for the 4th time. Based on her brilliant show in 2012, Serena was also named International Tennis Federation World Champion. Williams also returned to doubles competitions with Venus. In the pair's first tournament since 2010 Wimbledon, they claimed their 5th Wimbledon doubles title and the 13th Grand Slam doubles title. The pair successfully defended their Olympic doubles title, which meant that they became the only tennis players to win 4 gold medals. This version is strictly for demonstration purposes only. Please contact our sales support team in order to obtain a valid license for commercial use. Williams' first tournament of the 2013 season was in Brisbane, where she won the title without dropping a set. Williams was upset in the quarter-finals of the 2013 Australian Open by fellow American player Sloane Stephens. By virtue of defeating Petra Kvitova in Doha, Williams returned to the world #1 position for the sixth time in her career and became the oldest woman in the Open era to hold the ranking. Williams went on to lose to Victoria Azarenka in the final. In the Miami final, Williams lost a set to Maria Sharapova for the first time since 2008. However, this setback did not stop Williams, who recorded her 70th come-from-behind win. The win made Williams a six-time champion in Miami, breaking the record she held with Steffi Graf, and became only the fourth woman in the Open era to have won a tournament at least 6 times. Williams successfully defended her Charleston title, winning it for the third time overall. Williams won her 50th career singles title in Madrid, defeating Sharapova in the final. Williams then played Rome, where she won the title without dropping a set, defeating Victoria Azarenka in the final to take her second title. Williams only dropped 10 games in reaching the quarter-finals at Roland Garros. There, she played Svetlana Kuznetsova and lost her first set of the tournament. In the semi-final, Williams only lost one game when she defeated Sarah Urani, something 7-time French Open champion Chris Evert described as the finest female performance on clay she had ever seen. Williams defeated Sharapova to claim her second Roland Garros title, her 16th Grand Slam tournament title overall. She became the fourth woman in the Open era after Martina Navratilova, Chris Evert and Steffi Graf to win each Grand Slam tournament title on at least 2 occasions. At the 2013 Wimbledon Championships, she advanced easily to the fourth round before being upset by eventual finalist Sabine Lisicki in 3 sets. After Wimbledon, Williams won the Swedish Open by defeating Johanna Larsson in the final. The tournament win marked the first occasion that she had won an international-level title. By winning the tournament, this meant that Williams had managed to be undefeated on clay during the season. Williams winning her 5th U.S. Open title, Williams won her 3rd Rogers Cup title in Toronto, beating Sorana Cirstea in the final. Williams reached the final of the Western and Southern Open for the first time but lost to Azarenka at the 2013 U.S. Open. Williams began as the top seed and defending champion. She reached the final, a rematch of the 2012 final against Azarenka, and won in 3 sets, capturing her 17th Grand Slam singles title. Williams became the oldest U.S. Open champion in the Open era and pushed her career prize money past $50 million. After the U.S. Open, Williams headed to Beijing, where she beat Jelena Jankovic to win the China Open for her 10th title of 2013. Williams went through the WTA Championships undefeated, winning the final against Li Na, to become the first person to defend the title since Justine Henin in 2007. Williams won her 11th title of the year, becoming the 8th player to win 11 tournaments or more in a year, and the first since Martina Hingis in 1997. Additionally, Williams became the oldest person to win the WTA Championships and the 4th player to win the event 4 times or more. By winning the championship, Williams became the first woman to win more than $10 million in a season, and with her total of $12,385,572, only Rafael Nadal, in 2013, and Novak Djokovic, in 2011, 2012 and 2013, have earned more money in a single season. Williams finished as the year-end world #1 for the 3rd time, becoming the oldest #1 player in WTA history. She was also named the 2013 ITF World Champion, the 4th time that she has been given the World Champion's crown. Williams received 2 prizes at the 2013 ISPIA Awards. Williams won Best Female Athlete and Best Female Tennis Player. Williams is just the 4th person to win Best Female Athlete on 2 occasions, and she won Best Female Tennis Player for a record 6th time. In late December 2013, Williams capped off her year by receiving the Associated Press 2013 Female Athlete of the Year Award, her 3rd AP award after 2002 and 2009. Only 2 women, Chris Evert and Babe Didrikson, have been chosen more often as AP Athlete of the Year since the annual awards were first handed out in 1931. 2014-15, Second Serena Slam, main articles, 2014 and 2015 Serena Williams tennis season, Williams defended her title at the Brisbane International by defeating world number 2 Victoria Azarenka in the final. At the Australian Open she ended up losing to former world number 1 Ana Ivanovic in the fourth round. At the 2014 Dubai Tennis Championships, Williams lost her semi-final match to Alexis Cornet in straight sets. Williams next headed to the Miami Open where she won her record 7th title with a straight sets victory over world number 2 Lena. Serena lost to Jana Sapilova in the second round of the Family Circle Cup. She made it to the quarter-finals at the Mutual Madrid Open before withdrawing with a left thigh injury. Williams won her third title of the season at the 2014 Internazionale Biennale d'Italia. She was then handed the worst loss of her Grand Slam tournament career by Garbiñe Muguruza at the second round of the 2014 French Open, who defeated Serena losing just 4 games in 2 sets. Alexis Cornet defeated Williams for the second time in the year in the third round of Wimbledon, thus handing Serena her earliest Wimbledon exit since 2005. Serena was then forced to withdraw from the doubles event alongside sister Venus Williams while trailing 0-3 in the second round. A disoriented Serena hit 4 consecutive doubles faults and was having trouble with both her ball toss and movement before being removed from what has been described as one of the most unusual scenes ever seen in tennis. Williams rebounded by winning 19 out of her next 20 matches, losing only to sister Venus in the semi-finals of the Rogers Cup. This streak includes titles at the Bank of the West Classic as well as her first Western and Southern Open title and her third consecutive and 6th overall U.S. Open singles title which she won without having dropped a set. With this victory Serena tied Chris Evert for most singles titles won by a woman at the U.S. Open in the Open era. Williams also tied Evert and Martina Navratilova's 18 Grand Slam singles titles won in the Open era. By virtue of having won both the U.S. Open and the U.S. Open Series, Williams collected $4 million, the biggest payday in tennis history. At the Wuhan Open a viral illness forced her to retire while up a break in the first set against Alexis Cornet. Cornet thus became the first woman since Justine Henin in 2007 to record 3 victories over Williams in 1 year. At the China Open Williams retired prior to her quarter-final match versus Samantha Stosur. At the 2014 WTA Finals in Singapore Serena advanced to the final for the third consecutive year despite having equaled her career-worst loss in her second round-robin match versus Simona Halep. Williams won her 5th WTA Finals title by avenging her loss to Halep in the championship match for her 7th title of the year. Serena finished the year ranked world number 1 for the 4th time in her career. She held the number 1 ranking for the entire calendar year, a feat not accomplished since Steffi Graf in 1996. She was also voted WTA Player of the Year and ITF World Champion for the 3rd consecutive year, 6th year overall. Williams began the 2015 season by representing the United States alongside John Isner at the Hopman Cup. The American pair lost the final to the Poland. At the Australian Open Williams defeated Maria Sharapova of Russia for the 16th consecutive time to claim her 6th Australian Open singles title and 19th career Grand Slam singles title, winning the title on her 3rd match point in the second set. With this victory Williams surpassed both Chris Evert and Martina Navratilova for second most Grand Slam singles titles won in the Open era. The title was also her 6th Grand Slam singles title since turning 30 years of age, 3 more than the next closest to do so, Margaret Court, Martina Navratilova with 3 each. She is the only player in history to win all 4 Grand Slams at least once after having turned 30. The following weekend, Serena and sister Venus traveled to Buenos Aires, Argentina to face Argentina in a World Group 2 tie for Fed Cup. She played and won her only match against Maria Irigoyen to help Team USA to a 4-1 win over Argentina. Williams announced that she would be competing at the Indian Wells Masters, ending her 14-year boycott of the event. Upon her return Williams received standing ovation from the crowd and won her first match in straight sets. She reached the semi-finals, where she was due to face world number 3 Simona Halep for a place in the final, but was forced to withdraw because of a knee injury. By virtue of having defeated Sabine Lisicki in the quarter-finals of the Miami Open, Serena became only the 8th woman in the Open era to record 700 match wins in her career. This also made her one of only 3 active players to have won 700 or more matches in singles, the others being Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. In the semi-finals she won against Alexis to advance to her 10th final at the event, where she won a record 8th title and extended her winning streak to 21 matches by beating Carlos Suarez. Navarro Williams celebrating her 3rd French Open title, as preparation for the clay court season, and to ensure her eligibility for the 2016 Summer Olympics, Williams travelled to Brindisi, Italy, to face Italy's team for a place in the Fed Cup's World Group. Williams lost the decisive doubles match alongside Alison Riske to Sara Errani and Flavia Pennetta, and as a result the United States team were relegated to World Group 2. It was Williams' first loss in the Fed Cup. However, she maintained her perfect record in singles by defeating Camila Giorgi and Errani. The week of April 20 marked Serena's 114th consecutive week ranked world number 1, the 3rd longest run in WTA history, behind Steffi Graf's 186 weeks and Martina Navratilova's 156. Citation needed. Williams suffered her first defeat of the season in the semi-finals of the Mutual Madrid Open to world number 4 Petra Kvitova. This loss ended a 27-match winning streak for Williams as well as a 50-match winning streak at premier mandatory events, and also a 19-match winning streak at the particular event. Williams played one match at the 2015 Internazionale Biennale d'Italia before withdrawing from the tournament with an elbow injury. This version is strictly for demonstration purposes only. By virtue of having defeated Victoria Azarenka in the 3rd round of the French Open, Williams became the first woman in the Open era to win 50 matches at all 4 of the Grand Slams. Williams then defeated Sloane Stephens to reach her 40th Grand Slam singles quarter-final. Serena won her next match easily, but had to come back from a set-down in the semi-finals versus Timea Beksinski for the 4th time in 5 matches to reach the final. She would go on to defeat Lucy Shafarova from the Czech Republic in 3 sets to win her 3rd French Open and 20th Grand Slam singles title. The win made her only the 3rd person in history to win each Grand Slam at least 3 times, joining Margaret Court and Steffi Graf. She's the first player to win 3 straight Grand Slams since she did it herself during the Serena Slam. She also became the first player to win the Australian French Open doubles since Jennifer Capriati in 2001. Williams completed her 2nd Serena Slam, winning all 4 Grand Slams in a row, by winning the 2015 Wimbledon Championships, her 6th Wimbledon and 21st Grand Slam singles title overall. Her path to victory at Wimbledon was particularly challenging. She was down a double break in the 3rd round versus Heather Watson and 2 points from defeat twice before rallying for the win and becoming the first player to qualify for the WTA Finals, the earliest that a player had qualified since the event switched to the round-robin format in 2003. Williams then defeated 3 former number 1 players, Venus Williams, Victoria Azarenka and Maria Sharapova, in succession to advance to the final. Awaiting her there was 21-year-old Garbiñe Muguruza, who had previously handed Williams the worst Grand Slam tournament defeat of her career at the 2014 French Open. Williams defeated Muguruza in a tight 2-setter. The victory made her the oldest woman in the Open era to win a Grand Slam singles title, in addition to having the distinction of being the oldest ladies singles champion of all of the Grand Slam tournaments. It also was her 8th consecutive victory in Grand Slam singles finals appearances, breaking Steffi Graf's Open-era record of 7 from 1995 through 1999 and, on the men's side, tying Pete Sampras' Open-era record of 8 from 1995 through 2000. Her 21st Grand Slam singles titles equaled the tally of the rest of the women's tour, combined. The week of July 13 marked the first time in WTA history that the number 1 player had more than twice as many points as number 2. Following her win at Wimbledon, Williams was awarded with her 7th SPY for Best Female Tennis Player. Williams played one match at the Swedish Open in Bastad before withdrawing with an elbow injury. She was the defending champion at the Bank of the West Classic but withdrew from the tournament in order for her elbow to get better. Williams had her 19-match winning streak ended by 18-year-old Swiss Belinda Bencic, the world number 20, in 3 tight sets in the semi-finals of the Canadian Open. It was her second defeat of the year and first on hard courts since the 2014 WTA Finals. The next week Williams defended her title at the Western and Southern Open with a straight-sets victory over world number 3 Simona Halep for her 69th WTA title, breaking a tie with Yvonne Goolagong for standalone fifth most WTA titles won. Williams' attempt at capturing the Grand Slam, winning all 4 Grand Slams in a calendar year, came to an end in the semi-finals of the U.S. Open, where she lost to Roberta Vinci in 3 sets. The loss has been described by some as one of the biggest upsets in tennis history. Nonetheless, Williams secured the year-end #1 ranking with her results at the tournament. On October 1, Williams called an end to her season, stating that she had been injured for most of the year and wanted to address her fitness issues. Prior to the announcement, coach Patrick Mouratoglou hinted that Williams might not play again in 2015 due to a lack of motivation and disappointment following her loss at the Open. On October 5, Williams surpassed Chris Evert for third most weeks ranked world #1. Williams held the #1 ranking the entire season for the second consecutive year, finishing there for the 5th time in her career. She was voted WTA Player of the Year for the 7th time in her career. On December 14, Sports Illustrated announced Williams as their Sportsperson of the Year. She thus became the third solo woman, and first since 1983, to receive the award. Williams was also named ITF World Champion for the 6th time in her career. Soon after, it was announced that she was voted Female Athlete of the Year by the Associated Press for the 4th time. 2016, Open-era Grand Slam record. This section of a biography of a living person needs additional citations for verification. Please help by adding reliable sources. Contentious material about living persons that is unsourced or poorly sourced must be removed immediately, especially if potentially libelous or harmful. July 2016, learn how and when to remove this template message. Main article, 2016 Serena Williams tennis season. Williams withdrew from the Hopman Cup after retiring from her singles match against Australia Gold with inflammation of her left knee. Her next tournament was the Australian Open, where she was the #1 seed and defending champion. She reached the final without dropping a set, including wins over #5 Maria Sharapova and #4 Agnieszka Radwanska, and faced first-time Grand Slam finalist Angelique Kerber. She was considered the heavy favorite to win the title, as she had never lost an Australian Open final or semi-final. She also dominated the head-to-head against Kerber, having lost only once in 6 meetings and having not lost a set to her in 4 years. However, Serena lost the final in 3 sets and Kerber won her first Grand Slam title. This marked Williams' first ever loss in the final of the Australian Open, as well as her first 3-set loss in the final of a Grand Slam. She had previously been 6-0 and 8-0 respectively. Serena at the 2016 Wimbledon, winning her 22nd Grand Slam. The week of February 15 marked Serena's 157th consecutive week ranked world #1, passing Martina Navratilova's mark of 156 to have the second longest run in WTA history behind Steffi Graf's 186. She competed in Indian Wells as the #1 seed. She reached her first final here since winning in 2001 and before boycotting the event, by defeating Simona Halep in the quarter-finals and Agnieszka Radwanska in the semi-finals. She did not drop a set en route to the final. However, Serena was upset by #13 seed Victoria Azarenka, whom she had defeated the last 5 times the pair had met, in straight sets. This marked the first time since 2004 where Williams lost 2 consecutive finals. She next played the Miami Open as the defending champion. She lost in the 4th round to Svetlana Kuznetsova. This marked her first loss here since 2012 and ended her 20-match winning streak in Miami. This was also her earliest exit here since 2000, where she lost in the same round. During the clay court swing, Serena withdrew from Madrid but entered Rome. She beat Annalena Friedsam and Christina Mikhail to progress to the quarter-finals where she defeated Svetlana Kuznetsova to avenge her loss in Miami. She then went on to beat Irina Camelia Begu and Madison Keys to win her 70th career WTA title and to win her first title of the year. This was her third Rome title in 4 years and fourth overall. At the French Open, Williams dropped only one set en route to the final. She defeated Yulia Putintseva in the quarter-finals despite being 5 points away from losing. She then beat surprise semi-finalist Kiki Bertens to reach her fourth French Open final, where she faced Garbiñe Muguruza in a repeat of last year's Wimbledon final where Williams was victorious. However, the result was not the same as that Wimbledon final, as Williams lost to Muguruza in straight sets. With this loss, Serena had lost 2 consecutive Grand Slam finals for the first time in her career. On top of failing to equal Steffi Graf's Open-era record of 22 Grand Slam singles titles, Williams also completed the career Grand Slam runner-up set with this loss. At 2016 Wimbledon, Williams only lost one set en route to the final, where she faced Angelique Kerber in a rematch of their Australian Open final earlier in the year. This time, Serena defeated Kerber in straight sets to finally equal Steffi Graf's record of 22 Grand Slams in the Open era. This was Serena's first Grand Slam title of the year, as well as her 71st career WTA title overall. In what was a brilliant serving performance, Serena only faced one breakpoint in the whole match against Kerber, which she saved with an ace. Later that day, Serena partnered with sister Venus Williams to win their 6th Wimbledon doubles title and 14th doubles Grand Slam overall, keeping their perfect record at Grand Slam doubles finals intact. On July 24, 2016, Williams withdrew from Rogers Cup citing a shoulder inflammation injury. She next participated in the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where she was the defending gold medalist in both singles and doubles and was the heavy favorite to retain those titles. Partnering with her sister Venus in the doubles, they faced a shocking exit in the first round itself, losing to the Czech duo of Lucie Shafarova and Barbora Strakova, which ended their career record of 15-0 dating back to the 2000 Olympics. In singles, after defeating Daria Gavrilova and Elise Cornet in the first 2 rounds, Williams faced Ukraine's Elena Svitolina in the third round in what was a rematch of this year's French Open quarter-final, but lost to the Ukrainian, bringing an end to her Olympics campaign. Days after the Olympics, Williams took a late wildcard for the Western and Southern Open, where she was the defending champion, but then decided to withdraw due to concerns from the same shoulder injury inflammation from earlier in the summer. The week of September 5, 2016, marked Serena's 186th consecutive week ranked world number 1, equaling Steffi Graf's record for longest run in WTA history. Thank you for using voice text. You need to contact our sales support team to obtain a valid verification file. However, in the semi-finals of the U.S. Open, Serena lost to Karolina Pliskova. Having won the U.S. Open, Angelique Kerber became the world number 1, ending Williams' number 1 streak. Williams also pulled out of the WTA finals due to a shoulder injury. 2017, Australian Open victory and pregnancy. Main article, 2017 Serena Williams tennis season. Serena started her 2017 season by participating in the WTA Auckland Open for the first time in her career. She defeated Pauline Parmentier to win her first match played since the U.S. Open. In the second round, however, Williams surprisingly lost to Madison Bringhill. Williams displayed her top form from the outset of the Australian Open. Serena beat former and present top 10 players Belinda Bencic, Lucie Shafarova, Johanna Konta among others to reach her 8th Australian Open final. On January 28, 2017, Williams won the Australian Open for an Open-era record 7th time, defeating her sister, Venus. This was her 23rd Grand Slam singles title, surpassing Steffi Graf's Open-era record of 22. It was the first time in the Open era that 2 players aged 35 or older competed in the final of a Grand Slam tournament. The win ensured her return to the number 1 ranking. Serena subsequently withdrew from the Indian Wells and Miami Opens, citing a knee injury. However, on April 20, 2017, she revealed that she was 20 weeks pregnant and would miss the remainder of the season. The timing meant that she would have been roughly 8 weeks pregnant when winning the Australian Open. Rivalries, Serena vs. Venus. Main article, Williams sisters rivalry. Serena Williams and Venus Williams, Australian Open 2009. Williams has played older sister Venus in 28 professional matches since 1998. 62. Overall, Serena is 17-11 against her sister. Serena has played Venus 15 times in Grand Slam singles tournaments and 13 times in other tournaments, including 11 finals. Citation needed. They have met in 9 Grand Slam tournament finals, with Serena winning 7 times. 62. Beginning with the 2002 French Open, they played each other in 4 consecutive Grand Slam singles finals, which was the first time in the Open era that the same 2 players had contested 4 consecutive Grand Slam finals. Williams vs Hingis. Main article, Hingis Williams rivalry. Williams leads series 7-6. 249. One of Williams' first rivalries was with Martina Hingis, who turned pro less than 1 year before her. Hingis in October 1994, Williams in 1995. They first played each other at the 1998 Miami Open, where Hingis won in 3 sets. All but one of their matches was played on a hard court, with the exception being a contest on clay in Rome 1999, which Hingis won in straight sets. Their last match took place at the 2002 Miami Open, with Williams winning for the loss of just 4 games. Hingis was forced to briefly leave the sport citing ankle injuries. Williams vs Capriati. Williams leads series 10-7. 252. Once considered one of the best rivalries in women's tennis, the competition between Williams and Capriati was stiff, with 12 out of their 17 meetings going to 3 sets. The rivalry, starting in 1999, started off one-sided, with Capriati winning 4 of their first 5 matches. Serena would then go on to win the next 8. Williams and Capriati played with similar styles, both known for using their power and athleticism to gain quick advantages in points. Williams vs Henin. Main article, Henin Williams rivalry. Williams leads series 8-6. Henin and Williams met 14 times, 5 of which were in tournament finals. In Grand Slams they have faced each other 7 times, with Justine leading 4-3. Opposite personalities and styles of play are often cited as what made their rivalry entertaining. In the semi-finals of the 2003 French Open, when at 4-2, 30-0 on Williams' serve in the 3rd set, Henin raised her hand to indicate she was not ready to receive, and Williams then put her serve into the net. The umpire did not see Henin raise her hand and thus did not allow Williams a first serve. Williams lost the game and would go on to lose the match. Their last match took place in the final of the 2010 Australian Open, where Williams won in 3 sets, earning her 12th Grand Slam title. Match controversies. Accusations of match fixing. When both the Williams sisters entered the top 10 and started meeting in tournaments, unsubstantiated rumors of match fixing started to circulate. John McEnroe, while commenting on the 2000 Wimbledon semi-final between the 2 sisters, said that Serena may not be allowed to win. Richard may have something to say about this. 259. Elena Dementieva, a fellow professional player, said during a post-match interview after losing to Venus at the Indian Wells quarter-finals in 2001, that Richard Williams decided the results between the 2 sisters. Venus pulling out at the last minute garnered much speculation in the press, with fans demanding their money back. 2001 Indian Wells. After injuring herself in the quarter-final match against Dementieva, Venus Williams defaulted to Serena in the semi-finals. Although Venus told the tournament official hours beforehand that she would have to default, the official word was not given until 10 minutes before the scheduled start, in the hopes that Venus would change her mind, angering fans who had come to see the match. Consequently, during the final against Kim Clijsters 2 days later, the spectators jeered Serena from when she first took the court for warm-up through the final trophy presentation, including cheering double faults and errors with no intervention from the tournament officials. Despite these attacks, Serena went on to win the tournament. At the Ericsson Open the following week, Richard Williams said racist comments were made to him in the stands, and the tournament director refused to offer Serena an apology for how she was treated. As a result, neither sister played the tournament, even though since 2009 it had become a mandatory stop on the WTA Tour. In 2015, Serena decided to end her 14-year boycott and entered the tournament. 2004 U.S. Open. In her 2004 U.S. Open quarter-final match against Jennifer Capriati, an overrule was made by chair umpire Mariana Alves in Capriati's favor, even though later video review showed this to be an error, as Williams' shot was inside the court. There were calls that incorrectly went against Williams during the match, including late in the third set, which prevented her from rallying from a breakdown. Williams attempted to argue a couple of calls, but was not successful. Capriati won the match, but tournament officials dismissed Alves from the tournament, and she was suspended. The controversy renewed calls for the adoption of technology like the Macam and Hawkeye systems. 2009 U.S. Open. In a 2009 U.S. Open semi-final round against Kim Clijsters, Williams slammed her racket on the court after losing the first set. She was given a warning, with a potential second violation carrying a 1-point penalty. While trailing 4-6, 5-6, 15-30, Williams' second serve was called a foot fault, resulting in 2 match points for Clijsters. Williams gestured with her racket to the lineswoman who had made the call and yelled at her, with profanities and a threat to shove a tennis ball down the lineswoman's throat. During the subsequent on-court conference between the chair umpire, the lineswoman, U.S. Open officials, and Williams, a television microphone picked up Williams saying to the lineswoman, "I didn't say I would kill you. Are you serious?" The incident resulted in Williams being penalized a point for unsportsmanlike conduct, necessitated by the earlier warning for racket abuse, meaning Clijsters won the match 6-4, 7-5. The following day, Williams was issued the maximum permissible on-site fine of $10,000, plus $500 for racket abuse. After further investigation, the Grand Slam Committee in November 2009 fined her $175,000 in lieu of suspending her from the 2010 U.S. Open or other Grand Slam events. 269. They also placed her on a 2-year probation, so if Williams committed another offense in the following 2 years at a Grand Slam tournament, she would be suspended from participating in the following U.S. Open. If she committed no offenses in the next 2 years, her fine would be reduced to $82,500. 269. Williams initially refused to apologize for her outburst, both in her post-match press conference 270, and in an official statement released the following day she eventually apologized, stating, "I just really wanted to apologize sincerely, because I'm a very prideful person and I'm a very intense person and a very emotional person, and I wanted to offer my sincere apologies to anyone that I may have offended." She said she had been humbled by the experience. 2011 U.S. Open. In the final of the 2011 U.S. Open against Samantha Stosur, Williams shouted, "Come on!" as the Australian attempted to return a forehand Williams believed to be a winner. The chair umpire Eva Astaraki awarded the point to Stosur based on the USTA's deliberate hindrance rule, which states, if a player commits any act which hinders his opponent in making a stroke, then, if this is deliberate, he shall lose the point, or if involuntary, the point shall be replayed. As the point was 30-40 on Williams' serve, the penalty gave the break of serve to Stosur. Williams became angry with the chair umpire and made several gestures and unflattering comments toward her during the next changeover, including telling Astaraki that if she ever saw the umpire coming toward her, she should look the other way. Williams initially gained momentum in the set following the penalty, breaking back in the next game, but eventually flagged and lost the match, 2-6, 3-6. At the end of the match, she declined to offer the customary handshake to Astaraki. Williams mentioned the incident in her post-match speech as the tournament runner-up, claiming, "I hit a winner, but I guess it didn't count," but added, "It wouldn't have mattered in the end. Sam played really well." A writer for ESPN suggested that Williams could avoid being found to have violated the terms of the probation on which she was placed following her 2009 outburst, as she did not appear to have used profanity in addressing Astaraki during the match. "Your license has expired, or you do not have a valid license verification file. Please contact our sales support team for more information." In the end, Williams was fined $2,000 and was not barred from competing in the 2012 U.S. Open because Williams' conduct, while verbally abusive, not rise to the level of a major offense under the Grand Slam Code of Conduct. Personal life: Williams announced her engagement to Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian on December 29, 2016. On April 19, 2017, Williams posted a sideways picture of herself on Snapchat focused on her belly. It had the caption 20 weeks, sparking speculation that Williams is pregnant. Later that evening, her spokesperson confirmed that the couple is expecting. The fact that she was 20 weeks pregnant when announcing her pregnancy meant that she was pregnant when she won the Australian Open in January. 282. Williams is a practicing Jehovah's Witness and often thanks Jehovah after winning matches. Off-court activities, equipment and endorsements: in the early 2000s, Williams wore Puma apparel and footwear on court. She used Wilson Hammer 6.4 stretch power holes racket. 285. Today, she is endorsed by Nike and uses the Wilson Blade 104. Williams also has endorsement deals with Gatorade, Delta Airlines, O'Demers Piguet, Aston Martin, Pepsi, Beats by Dre headphones, Mission Athleticare, Burley Bras, OPI Products, One Piece, IBM, Mini and Chase Bank. Thanks for watching the video. My channel regularly posts new videos. Remember to subscribe to watch and share videos if you see a great video and thank you have been beneficial. Williams responded, "Everyone does different things. I think for Venus and I, we just attempted a different road, and it worked for us." Playing style: Williams is primarily a baseline player and her game is built around taking immediate control of rallies with her powerful and consistent serve, return of serve, and forceful ground strokes from both her forehand and backhand swings. Williams' forehand is considered to be among the most powerful shots in the women's game, as is her double-handed backhand. Williams strikes her backhand ground stroke using an open stance, and uses the same open stance for her forehand. Williams' aggressive play, a high-risk style, is balanced in part by her serve, which most say is the greatest in women's tennis history. She consistently projects great pace and placement with her serves, and in the 2013 Australian Open, she had a peak serve speed of 128.6 mph, 207.0 km/h, which is the third fastest all-time among female players. Only Venus's 129 mph and Sabine Lisicki's 131 mph recorded speeds are faster. What makes her serve even more deadly is her ball placement and her ability to consistently place powerful shots with great accuracy. At the 2012 Wimbledon Championships, she hit a women's tournament record of 102 aces, which was more than any of the men hit during the 2 weeks. Williams also possesses a very solid and powerful overhead. Although many think of Williams as only an offensive player, she also plays a strong defensive game. She has stated that her favorite surface is clay because it gives her extra time to set up her shot. Williams is known for producing exceptional comebacks, particularly on the Grand Slam level. She has won 3 Grand Slam singles titles after saving match points: 2003 Australian Open vs Kim Clijsters, 2005 Australian Open vs Maria Sharapova, and 2009 Wimbledon vs Elena Dementieva, more than any other player in history. She also came back from a 3-5 deficit in the third set against Kim Clijsters in the 1999 US Open and went on to win her first Grand Slam singles title. In the 2012 US Open final against Victoria Azarenka, she was down 3-5 in the third set and found herself 2 points away from losing the match. Williams then proceeded to win the next 4 games and defeated Azarenka. In the semi-finals of the 2015 French Open, Williams was ill and barely able to walk during changeovers, yet beat her opponent, Timea Baksinshkai, 6-0 in the third set. Another improbable win occurred in the third round of the 2015 Wimbledon Championships, when she recovered from 2 breaks. The truth about Serena Williams. Serena Jameka Williams, born September 26, 1981, is an American professional tennis player. The Women's Tennis Association, WTA, has ranked her world number 1 in singles on 8 occasions, from 2002 to 2017. She became the world number 1 for the first time on July 8, 2002. On the 6th occasion, She held the ranking for 186 consecutive weeks, tying the record set by Steffi Graf for the most consecutive weeks as world number 1 by a female tennis player. In total, she has been world number 1 for 319 weeks, which ranks her third in the Open era among female tennis players. Williams' accomplishments and success in professional tennis have led some commentators, players, and sports writers to regard her as the greatest female tennis player of all time. Williams holds the most Grand Slam titles in singles, doubles, and mixed doubles combined amongst active players. Her record of 39 Grand Slam titles puts her third on the all-time list and second in the Open era, 23 in singles, 14 in women's doubles, and 2 in mixed doubles. She is the most recent female player to have held all 4 Grand Slam singles titles simultaneously, 2002-03 and 2014-15, and the third player to achieve this record twice after Odd Laver and Steffi Graf. She is also the most recent player, together with her sister Venus Williams, to have held all 4 Grand Slam women's doubles titles simultaneously, 2009-10. Her total of 23 Grand Slam singles titles marks the record for the most Grand Slam wins by a tennis player in the Open era, and is second on the all-time list behind Margaret Court, 24. She is the only tennis player in history, man or woman, to have won singles titles at least 6 times in 3 of the 4 Grand Slam tournaments, and the only player ever to have won 2 of the 4 Grand Slams 7 times each, 7 Wimbledon titles and 7 Australian Open titles. She is also the only tennis player to have won 10 Grand Slam singles titles in 2 separate decades. She has won an all-time record of 13 Grand Slam singles titles on hardcourt. Williams holds the Open-era record for most titles won at the Australian Open, 7, and shares the Open-era record for most titles won at the US Open with Chris Evert, 6. She also holds an all-time record for the most singles matches won at the Grand Slams, man or woman, with 316 matches, through the 2017 Australian Open. She has won 14 Grand Slam doubles tie of service in the third set to defeat Great Britain's number 1 female player, Heather Watson. Williams has bounced back from a set-down to win in 37 Grand Slam matches. In recent years, Williams has shown an ability to serve aces at critical moments. One of these instances was the 2013 French Open final, where in the last game of the match, she fired 3 aces, including one which clocked at 123 mph, 198 km/h, on match point. 52-53. She repeated the feat similarly against Angelique Kerber in the finals of the 2016 Wimbledon Championships to tie the Open-era record for Grand Slam singles titles. Williams fired 3 unreturnable serves in her final service game before winning the match and the title with a casual forehand volley on the next point. Professional career, 1995-98, professional debut. Williams' parents wanted their daughter to wait until she was 16 to participate in professional tournaments. However, in 1995, just after turning 14, Williams planned to make her professional debut as a wild-card entry in the Bank of the West Classic in Oakland, California, but was denied by the WTA due to age eligibility restrictions of the organization. She subsequently filed an antitrust lawsuit against the Women's Tour, but withdrew it at the behest of her parents. Her first professional event was in October 1995 at the Bell Challenge in Quebec. To circumvent age eligibility rules, she lost in the first round of qualifying to Annie Miller in just 2 games. Williams did not play a tournament in 1996. The following year, she lost in the qualifying rounds of 3 tournaments, citation needed before winning her first main draw match in November at the Ameritech Cup. Chicago ranked world number 304, she upset world number 7 Mary Pierce and world number 4 Monica Seles, recording her first career wins over top 10 players and becoming the lowest-ranked player in the Open era to defeat 2 top 10 opponents in one tournament. She ultimately lost in the semi-finals to world number 5 Lindsay Davenport. She finished 1997 ranked world number 99. Williams began 1998 at the Meadowbank International Sydney. As a qualifier ranked world number 96, she defeated world number 3 Davenport in the quarter-finals, before losing to Arancha Sanchez Vicario in the semi-finals. Williams made her debut in the main draw of a Grand Slam tournament at the Australian Open, where she defeated 6th-seeded Irina Spurley in the first round, before losing to sister Venus in the second round in the sisters' first professional match. Williams reached 6 other quarter-finals during the year, but lost all of them, including her first match against world number 1 ranked Martina Hingis at the Lipton International Players' Championships in Key Biscayne, and her second match against Venus at the Italian Open in Rome. She failed to reach the quarter-finals of any Grand Slam tournament the remainder of the year, citation needed, losing in the fourth round of the French Open to Arancha Sanchez Vicario, and the third round of the U.S. Open to Spurley. She withdrew from Wimbledon 2 games into a match with Virginia Ruano Pascual, after straining her calf muscle during the first set. She did, however, win the mixed doubles titles at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open with Max Mirnier, completing the Williams family's sweep of the 1998 mixed doubles Grand Slam tournaments. Williams won her first professional title in doubles in Oklahoma City with Venus, becoming the third pair of sisters to win a WTA title. Williams and her sister won 2 more doubles titles together during the year. Williams finished the year ranked world number 20 in singles. Battle of the Sexes, Karsten Brosch vs. the Williams sisters, main article, Battle of the Sexes, Tennis. A 16-year-old Serena competed in a tennis Battle of the Sexes, along with her sister Venus Williams, against Karsten Brosch at the 1998 Australian Open. At the time, Brosch was ranked 203rd. The Williams sisters had claimed they could beat any man outside the top 200, and he accepted the challenge. Not known for having an ideal training regimen, Brosch nonetheless beat both Williams sisters, playing a single set against each. The score versus Serena was 6-1 and versus Venus 6-2. Brosch said afterwards, 500 and above, no chance. The girls later tweaked the number to beating men outside the top 350. 1999 to 2001, becoming a top 10 player, Williams lost in the third round of the 1999 Australian Open to Sandrine Testud. Williams won her first professional singles title when she defeated Amélie Mauresmo in the final of the Open Gaz de France. With Venus also winning the IGA Super Thrift Classic that day, the pair became the first sisters to win professional tournaments in the same week. A month later, Williams won her first Tier I singles title at the Evert Cup, defeating Steffi Graf in the final. At the Lipton International Players' Championships, Williams had her 16-match winning streak ended by Venus in the first all-sister singles final in WTA history, and made her top 10 debut at world number 9. She then lost in the quarter-finals of the Italian Open and the German Open, citation needed, in the third round of the French Open, citation needed, where she and Venus won the women's doubles title. She then missed Wimbledon because of injury. When she returned to the tour, Williams won a Fed Cup singles match, won the doubles with her sister Venus, and the pair are unbeaten in Grand Slam doubles finals. As a team, she and Venus have the third most women's doubles Grand Slam titles, behind the 18 titles of Natasha Zvereva, 14 with Gigi Fernandez, and the record 20 titles won by Martina Navratilova and Pam Shriver. Williams is also a 5-time winner of the WTA Tour Championships in the singles division. Serena has also won 4 Olympic gold medals, 1 in women's singles and 3 in women's doubles, an all-time record shared with her sister, Venus. The arrival of the Williams sisters has been credited with ushering in a new era of power and athleticism on the women's professional tennis tour. Williams was the highest-paid female athlete in 2016, earning $28.9 million in prize money and endorsements. She has won the Laureate Sportswoman of the Year award 3 times, 2003, 2010, 2016, and in December 2015, she was named Sportsperson of the Year by Sports Illustrated magazine. Early life: Williams was born in Saginaw, Michigan, to Richard Williams and Orsine Price, and is the youngest of Price's 5 daughters, half-sisters Yeton, Lindrea and Isha Price, and full sister Venus. When the children were young, the family moved to Compton, California, where Williams started playing tennis at the age of 3. Her father, Richard, homeschooled Serena and her sister Venus, while he and subsequently her mother, Orsine, had been the official coaches. Other mentors who helped her learn the game included Richard Williams in Compton, not to be confused with her father, who would go on to found the Venus and Serena Williams Tennis Tutorial Academy. Williams' family moved from Compton to West Palm Beach, Florida when she was 9 so that she could attend the tennis academy of Rick Matchey, who would provide additional coaching. Matchey spotted the exceptional talents of the sisters. He did not always agree with Williams' father, but respected that he treated his daughters like kids, allowed them to be little girls. Richard stopped sending his daughters to national junior tennis tournaments when Williams was 10, since he wanted them to take it slow and focus on schoolwork. Another factor was racial, as he had heard white parents talk about the Williams sisters in a derogatory manner during tournaments. At that time, Williams had a 46-3 record on the United States Tennis Association Junior Tour and was ranked number 1 among under 10 players in Florida. In 1995, when Williams was in the 9th grade, her father pulled his daughters out of Matchey's academy and, from then on, took over all coaching at their home. When asked in 2000 whether having followed the normal path of playing regularly on the junior circuit would